Okay, welcome once again to the Let's Enjoy Piano Self-Expression Method. We're going to look at diminished chords today and fully diminished chords. If you have the book, page 70 and page 64, we'll go through the diminished chord, similar shapes, like E diminished, D diminished, A diminished. All similar shapes, two whites and a black, etc. And 64 deals with the altered chords of say C7 flat 9, F7 flat 9, etc. The right hand is playing the fully diminished chord, which is two diminished chords sandwiched together. So when you have a B flat diminished, here's B flat major, B flat minor with the middle finger, the third flatted, and then the fifth flatted gives you the diminished chord, B flat diminished. So it's a minor chord with a flat 5. That's B flat diminished. And if you add on the G, this is C sharp or D flat diminished. Here's a D flat chord or a C sharp major chord. Here's a C sharp minor or D flat minor. And then you lower the middle note of the 5, and you get a C sharp or D flat diminished. So we're putting B flat together, sandwiched with a C sharp. So practice your diminished chords and you can then easily put them together. Now a regular diminished chord is the top of a 7 chord. The 7 chord, let's say C7, is C, E, G, B flat. The plurality, in other words, the chord, the triad within the 7 chord is 4 notes. The top 3 of a dominant 7 is the diminished. Think of it, dominant, diminished. And there's the E diminished. E minor with a flat 5. Or if you know E major, flat 3 to get E minor, flat 5 to get diminished. So that's a C7. This is the 8, this is the 9, this is the flat 9. And when we play the flat 9, we have another diminished chord here. Here's E diminished, and here's G diminished. G minor, G diminished. We use that in the famous, there's the G minor with a G diminished off of an E flat bass, which is E flat major 7, and then E7, which is the diminished chord, dominant diminished. So every 7 chord has the diminished. So back to Oh Christmas Tree, that's what we're going to focus on today. Here's the C7. It starts out with an F, G minor. Now, right here, O, C7 flat 9 with a G melody. So we find C7, flat 9. Now how am I going to reach the G? Well, I have to move the chord up to the next fully diminished. There's no inversions. This becomes a G fully diminished. E fully diminished, G fully diminished, and B flat fully diminished. Because the melody dictates what the position will be, and the melody is G. So the only way I can get a diminished chord that fits the C7 is walk it up. Now if I need the B flat, then I will use that. We'll use that in another measure or so. So Vince Guaraldi took the regular traditional and he put in a little advanced harmony, made that G minor 7, and now there's the 7 flat 9, and there's the F sharp diminished, and there is the C7 flat 9 with the C sharp fully diminished. So you have to go and just review your diminished chords. Diminished triads, page 70 has all the shapes, and then you sandwich them together to get the flat 9. Or you could play, if you need If I needed this up here, I don't have to play the 4 notes. I could just play the top 3 to get the diminished chord. That's still C7 flat 9. You'd have to pick up the 7 from the left hand. But here, the fully diminished catches everything here. So think in terms of patterns, 2 black keys and 2 white keys. I call it a kind of a swoop down zigzag. This is a backward U. I think this is on page 65, the shapes of the fully diminished chords. If you don't have the book, pick up a copy, go to the website, let'senjoypiano.com. And I also give online lessons. You can take a few. But these are things you really need to know to play 7 flat 9 chords, which are the jazz chord that's used quite a bit to jazz something up, as Vince Guaraldi did with the traditional. Just plain old C7, plain old F. So he made it G minor 7, and then, sorry, here's F sharp, F sharp diminished. And a good way to practice it is go to your 7 chords, your dominant 7 chords. The top 3 notes are diminished. So practice now D7, there's the top F sharp diminished, E7, G sharp diminished, F7, A diminished. Okay, so there's many ways to approach it, but that's the whole idea of the diminished chord, and it really sounds good with that idea. And then he repeats it, and he does it a little. That whole flavor. But that's the key to learning your diminished chords, diminished 7 chords, and which become the 7 flat 9, which is the basis of this song or any jazz song that has that nice diminished tension quality. So I hope that helped you. Enjoy the Christmas season here, and pick up Old Christmas Tree and see if you can apply what we did today. And it's a fun thing to do. Diminished chords are a nemesis to a lot of people, but then again, when they study them, the students then realize how important they are. Okay, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time around.